Hello and welcome to another Jungle Coaching, and in this one we have a gold Jarvan versus a gold Diana. The ganking prodigy versus the original farming prodigy. Such times we've had with Diana, but she is still a good pick if you want Diamond. To be honest, you can go higher than that, but at least Diamond is the... Excuse me. Listen, this Jarvan has a 72% odd win rate with the champion climbing, so in continuation with this week's theme of what champions are players using and having success with, why, and if they were to maintain this playstyle, could they climb to the next tier? Which I think is important because a lot of you have great games, great stats on certain champions, but you just don't keep playing them. But you just don't keep playing them enough, and as such, you don't see the results because you're offsetting the goodness with some badness. Now, as you can see, we are still not perfect. We are still gold. We are still not platinum level. We force a reset on the blue. The Diana in the meantime gets leashed. Boom, boom, boom. Diana in the meantime, as per her name, will go Red Krugs Raptors and probably farm for 10,000 years, which is great for us because we are no longer, my friends, in silver. Gold junglers, you need to have the right attitude. You need to understand exactly how to deny the enemy jungler, gank lanes, farm while being active. This is the beginning phase of where you start to master these things. Hey, blue side quadrant into the gank here. Exactly what we talk about in the gold level jungle course. We talk a lot about this kind of stuff. This is really good stuff. This would be what I would say in the course. What are you doing wrong in terms of your ganking impact? Not doing it. Okay. So what if we blue side quadrant gank this, force a flash, ward this by keeping the warding totem? We know the enemy jungler started bot side sequences upside. Now, if they show up on the river at any point, we can see them, especially if they want to capitalize on the mid lane, and we can fall back to our red side quadrant. This is the kind of stuff I teach you to master in that course. This is the kind of stuff I teach you to look for. So it's very nice to see the Jarvan using such techniques. Of course, all of that will be linked below for you. And we have the Yorick here checking our Gangplank. Jarvan goes here. Should this be gankable, you could easily continue on this train of thought and gank this lane. Maybe we should have, instead of de facto red side blindly. That's the next level, right? That's what we want to train for. We also could have maybe invaded onto the Diana here and said, hey, hello, yes, can you die? Thank you for the camps. Now I can gank top lane. Boom, done. Jungle denial succeeded. Lanes won. You're fed. GG. Well, kinda, but you have to see it through to fruition. So we go back down to this. Oh, this guy's playing with fire on his drags, but this one we get. See, now here we see the Scribe's Bloom gets hit. We see our mid laner goes back to base. We see that we don't have necessarily the pride to make this fight because Yone can rotate over. This, my friends, would be the play you should not be making by any stretch of the imagination. Whoa, Yorick with the flash, baby. Now we're trailing, we're forcing them. The Master is like, wait for me, and we die and we give the Yone a red buff. So, how do we break this down in terms of taking it to the next level? And this is why I make courses. So you're looking basically to say, okay, cool. I'm doing my red. I'm dragging it for this topside scuttle. This is what I want. But my Casadino has to leave. The Yorick has total prio. So in this situation, if you don't want to invade and kill, if you don't think this is gankable, if you think your work here is done and the warding totem is placed, that's great. Then red, Krugs, reset straight baseline down to this one. She will most likely look to cross mid. And there we can have a fusion of jungle flesh in the most Scuttle Crab suggestive way. And obviously our bottom lane has a little bit of that itsy bitsy prio here, and the Kassadin has, of course, teleportation spell, and the Yone has no flash. So we basically say, please take this. I allow it. I'm gonna go down here. I don't allow this. And the Diana most likely will be in the same situation the Jarvan was on the top side. The difference is the Jarvan is destined for platinum, and the Diana, no, would not be. So the Jarvan unfortunately reveals his goldness, unfortunately for us, and he dies. And it's great that sums were burned, but you know, giving red buff to a Yone, now that Diana does this, she's gonna go top lane here, maybe looking for a translation gank. Is this a good idea versus the Gangplank with flash and orange spells? You know, it's definitely... It never ceases to amaze me how laners can put themselves in the most odd scenarios. Like, okay, we saw the Jarvan die. We know the Yorick lost his flash. We know the Diana's on the top side scuttle. We know she's most likely going to try and gank the top lane if it's gankable. Let's just play a little bit safe. But no, they don't do those things. Did he just... Am I correct in saying, did he just check the red? What is he doing? So, why would you be here? Ask yourself this question. What was going through your mind as a jungler that you would be here now? Obviously, we've used our EQ, right? This 12 seconds base. So you're looking at a 12-second flag that you just used to flag and drag over the wall. Now you can't flag and drag anywhere else. And if there's a minion wave going here, you can't exactly just EQ over to the Krug. You have to wait for the wave to pass through. Also, the Diana's going to snack into this baby here and force the flashes, and most likely now should go back to base. You have to operate on what should be. Because if she doesn't and she sticks around, she does something else, fine. I can adapt. That means there's something good for me to take. But I have to operate on what I think she should be doing. Because you might not be able to anticipate the badness, right? The randomness, but you can definitely anticipate goodness. And when they don't do it, that means 1, 2, 3 is available. So here, instead of just going straight, which is what we should have done, straight into the Raptors, potentially straight down here, walk around, scan, EQ over the snack this baby, can we gank bottom lane? That would have been my preferred outcome. Some people prefer to gank mid lane here, especially since we gave the Yone a red buff, and he has no flash, so we do know that this is a known quantity, and he's using his E here, so we can finish off our Raptor camp, go for the Yone. Of course, he has the good mobility spells. We hold our EQ. He does get level 6. He's going to turn back in there, and again, the huge aspect of the guy has gone back to base once. The guy got a kill plus red buff from us. The guy, as we see Diana showcasing down here, is 5 minutes 27, hitting level 6. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 36 minutes. You're going to notice as you climb up through gold and through platinum, get into the diamond levels, that people are getting 6 closer and closer to where they theoretically perfectly could, that 5-minute odd wave. And, you know, here you're like, well, maybe his 6 is kind of close, because you gave him kills, because he didn't really lose much, he's going to hit 6 first there, right? So, do we gank this before we do the red side camps? If that's your goal, yes. Gank it, then worry about Raptors. You'll have Prior from the Cassidon and so on. You might even have to give this up. Give up the counter jungling, that's fine. But alternatively, hoopsie, hoopsie, doopsie, thank you so muchy. Can I gank this baby? Nice. You could have changed this one for the better, right? You could have easily killed the Jinx, burned some sums on the Jinx. That's great for your level 6. You can burn Jinx sums at level 6, dead Jinx. Guaranteed. So he wasn't quite setting himself up for that. And then this whole time I'm getting waxing hysterical about the theory, and the guy just straight up dies on. Yeah, fine. We're good. Okay. Yeah, totally, man. Yeah. He disconnected. He disconnected, guys. Totally disconnected. So this was not very good at all, right? This is pretty tragic. Yet the guy has a good win rate on the champion. The champion is boosting him a little bit, I think, with this kind of stuff, but at the same time, that's what playing meta is. So now we leave the base, we go to the wolves, we go to the grump. The idea here is to probably go to the bot lane after doing the blue buff. We could look to leverage a dragon here. The Diana, in the meantime, could just sequence and go to the top side, although she seems to be wasting an animalistic amount of time doing nothing. Because she should already, like, this red buff shouldn't be on the cards for her, right? With the Diana, it's boom. Oh, it's gone. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, Jarvan died. Boom, boom, dive. Like, who cares about the red buff, you know? Gold junglers. Silver junglers. Gangplank ults. Yone turns the kill. So this would be one of those scenarios where you ask me, hey, Virkayu, how do we beat and carry a fed laner such that we're down 3 levels? Well, my friends, it's quite simple. Firstly, stop ganking it, because he can 2v1 you, and you are not helping. You are making things much worse. What you can do is just go and snowball another lane, and ideally, you're not the one that makes the mid lane or the lane you're complaining about like this. Unfortunately, in our case, we are that exact reason. In this case, you're looking at the Diana, right? So she went to Wolves, saw this, rotated to it. Now she's going down to the Raptors. There is no concept of good sequencing. There is no ideology of how do I maximize my experience as a farming jungler. Like, her name is 4000 AFK farm because she takes 4000 more stabs than she needs to get the same level that any other normal farming jungler would have to. So, you know, that's not a good name, because now she's going to rotate down. Okay, clean up. Great, cool. Well done. I don't care. You should have already taken all of this away. Killed this motherfucker. You've taken all of this. You've reset. Now you're ganking this guy again. You can go back to your red or take the red, then kill this guy. Now you can go straight to the dragon, because you know the Jarvan, basically, as he dies here, will have done his blue side, given that he ganked from the bottom side. You following? I know it's quick for gold, but this is the beginning of it. You have to start thinking about the game at an increased speed. Now, the Jarvan basically sees the Diana go to the bottom side and says, well, you know, I guess I could snack this Herald up. And I think, you know, sure, we can do that. We're watching the Arc very, very closely, watching the mid lane Yone very, very closely. We are concerned a little bit about potentially the Diana just randomly showing up, which I think is a fair play assessment. And, you know, we don't have control woods, we don't have scanners, but we're able to get it. So we corn flip a little bit. The Tom Kench moves to the mid lane. Now we snack that Scuttle Crab, but again, where's Diana? What is she doing? Who knows at this point? Like, you could not predict the sequencing, right? You could track it a little bit, and kind of anticipate just by tendencies once you're focusing game, but a lot of this is our own doing. Like, why we, oh, hello, cool, no blue buff, as I would have seen that, boom, 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 done, right? Stop disconnecting, man. Walmart connection. That's a Halo 3 joke, what we used to say. Tahm Kench gets hooked. Tahm Kench dies, and you know what? Everyone everywhere. Oh, he got the ding level up, level 6. Okay, Jarvan rotates here. He's like, can I fancy myself a little bit of a kill? I'm an EQ force that flash dunk him. And we'll take that too. The Diana shows up here. She gets silenced. She ults on the turret. She gets a little bit of the damage. Is it enough? It is. She gets something back, and now she's validated. I am 311. I am Pathing Savant. I am AFK Farmer. No, you're not. You're none of those things. You got lucky because everyone else around you has no idea what they're doing. End of story. Although I am happy that she saw this, rotated, and got the kill. Even in the Platinum course, which is very extensive, by the way, we had the Zac doing his blue buff, right? And the enemy top laner comes down here, dives, gets 1 HP, walks out this direction, and his top laner is just spamming in the Zac, and the Zac didn't even notice. He didn't, the laner just literally walked by him here and did the blue into the gromp, and the Zac didn't notice at all. So, yeah, very funny. It's funny when junglers don't notice these things. We activate the Herald, we get some plates, we're overstaying great. I mean, we're super duper giga low. The Diana, in the meantime, basically can just... Well, I better go back to base. You're still here? Okay. I don't understand those things at all. I don't know why you would overstay. It's insane that there's no tonal clock saying, right, guys are respawning, guys are going back to base. Maybe she's just healing up in the Raptors and then killing me. Who knows, right? It's just too risky to really force those plates. So, not the best thing. Gangplank also dies to the Yorick. And, you know, the Blitzcrank and Jinx, I don't feel like should have any stake in this game. I feel like we should have totally dominated them. The Diana shows on the mid lane ward there. We see here the Blitzcrank as well as the Jinx. We're looking. We have ultimate up. Now we're going to get collapsed upon. We did see the hook of the wall. Ooh. Lucky. So, yeah, like, it bugs me, right? It really bugs me because Tahm Kench is not holding mid lane. Diana's like, well, oh, that's a Yona. Excuse me, Diana's here. We knew the Diana's here. This is what I'm talking about. You see, you completely threw me off because I'm so perplexed at why laners don't do this. Yes! Leave my Raptors alone. Take the enemy jungler's Raptors. I was so surprised by it, I was like, there's no ways. Diana must be in two places at once. But yeah, we know the Diana's down here. We get collapsed upon. The Jarvan's in a bit of a precarious situation. This blue buff is spawning. The Yonah is moving in deep here. The Kassadin super low. Does Yonah just go for the wall? No, he doesn't. Now we're sitting here looking for the dive. Wave has been cut. We have a 2v3. The Tahm Kench just rotating over. Can we 3v2 collapse in this scenario? I think that should be the play here. The Diana's going to go in. We're going to EQ over the wall. We're going to try and dunk on the Blitzcrank, which of course we do. Tahm Kench eats the Diana. Jinx is now over the wall. We snack the kill up. There you go. So blue team now overcommits, and red team to their credit say, okay, look, 3v2, let's go. Exactly what you want to do. How nice and fresh. Now we go ahead and do our blue, but again, we left base, did the grump, did all the stuff. That's it. So his farming cadence is definitely super low. You're looking at gold level jungling, I think. So his win rate is good, most likely because he's got a strong champion. He can dominate team fights quite well. And, you know, looking for the proactive play, sometimes all you really need to do. But his repeat ganks on a losing lane that he fed, not so good. As I said, easily could have done Krug's EQ with Diana top lane, snowball the bottom lane there, and look for a better time. So we're kind of chilling here, going for the GP old silence. And then, of course, he is able to reposition with his R. Kassadin wants it. We EQ bait and turn. Kassadin gets it. Diana's trying to do stuff. She's able to kill that one up. The Jarvan is pressing his go drink a button now. He's just going to use his W. Try and kill the Diana under the toe. That was close, and Yorick shows up as well to join the party. And, you know, this game is not working out as much as it should. I think, you know, people who complain about their teammates and struggling to get to platinum, I don't think you should do that. Sniped! I mean, just leave, Diana. Just leave. I mean, these kinds of things are not coachable, my friends. You have a coaching session, you do a course, and then you go and do this in game, you're like, what can I do? Just leave. Okay, it's a lost play, I'm low HP. Can I do this and heal up and do this and do this? Go ahead, you know? Or go back to base if you're 1 HP and you really have to, but don't stick around such that the guy can drop a flag on you. Again, not a good play. Only her to blame. She's 5-3-1, she is getting fed, but she is squishy. The sequencing is non-existent. The Jarvan sequencing has been terrible bad anyway, yet the guy is up 20 CS, 19 CS. So, yeah, right. What are we looking at? Now we're looking at a scenario where the Diana died and everything is available. Does she go top side looking to do something here? Or does she go bottom side looking to do something here? This we do not know, so we have to play our game at this particular stage. He's going Raptors into the red. The Krogs are gone here. Can he deal with the Yone at this particular point? Knowledge of champions. We see here the Yorick is now moving down with the Maiden versus the Maidenless team. This does give Cassidy a bit of open territory, which is quite nice actually. Now he's going to have to go mid lane. Look at the ghouls! They're so cute. Diana, in the meantime, we can see that she skipped Krugs. What is your purpose? What is your purpose in life? Rick and Morty means. What is my purpose? To pass the butter? Except in this case, to sequence. You are not doing your purpose. It's offensive. Now, the Yone is like, well, I guess I'll do the Herald. The Jarvan's like, oh, I wanted the Herald, that's why I went to the top side. The Diana's like, well, I better go to the Herald, so I'll sequence from the bottom side to the top side. We'll walk over Vision. The Yorick shows up. The Jarvan's like, do I go in for the steal? Oh, the discipline. Very nice. Cassidon's like, look, bros, I'm not level 11 yet. No GG. Please, no fight. Thank you so much. I'm a chill. Don't die here, please. Because we knew they were coming. All right, good. So excellent discipline and not to go in. Try and snack that Herald and die, you know, and lose a lot more than you probably lose the game. Give a game plan, give a Cassidy, give an Aphelios. You will scale, you just have to be patient. So the Herald is used. We're being attacked by ghouls, by maidens, by whatever Yorick is, and a Herald. And Tom Kench is going to rotate over here. They'll most likely snack this dragon as well. So a little bit of patience here, but the Jarvan is quite nice. And again, we're waiting for the flash to be used so we can go back in there for the dunkings. Nice little Q. We'll snack that kill up. Armor Shred on that passive as well. The Yone is moving topside. We leave a watermelon. We lose a dragon for this, but that's absolutely fine. It's fine. Patience. Make the pick here. Make the pick there. Now, what can I do? Aphelios died. Of course he did. What can I do? Now, I know Yone is here, so you have to be a little bit, you know, tempered with how aggressive you're going to be going into the river, into the enemy jungle, but you can definitely do it. At this point, how strong are you again? Can you guys 2v1 this guy? Can you guys 2v1 this guy? Yeah. It works. It works. E is now used, of course, has Giga Mobility in his R and his Q as well, so it's not like you're looking at him and going, aha, your E is down. It's more you're looking at him and going, great, now what trick is he going to use? I think at this particular point, you can see it's not as dominating as he probably would expect. E is now being used again. The Yorick has shown up. We're gonna keep going. The Jarvan's just like, oh, the auto Q, okay. Now we're waiting for the EQ to turn back around the other direction, which of course we do. The Jinx ult is flying. Oh, what is going on with the Jinx ult? On the gameplay channel, in high elo, no one can hit a global Jinx ult, and now randomly, literally randomly, the Jinxes of gold and silver are smack banging cross map ults. Obviously, they're basing lazily, but still. Nice. Home run. Now we're sitting and holding this turret here again. Is this a question of stubbornness, denial, hubris, ego? A whole bunch of things, because the Jinx is now moving with the Blitzcrank. They are shoving this in there, shoving this in. The Cassidon's like, turret, 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 mega vibing. The Jarvan's like, I just gotta hold this. The ghouls trigger some sort of turret aggro onto that Yorick character, and he takes some of them damages. Ghoul. We're out of mana here and Diana shows up, you know. Again, like, the overstays, though, it happens. He's done it twice now. Just go back to base. I mean, we had, what, 2.3k in pocket here? There's no reason to overchase this. Like, I understand the Yorick is low and you want him, but you've got this idea, you've got to have this idea that the Diana is going to eventually move on up through the enemy jungle to shove and try and end the game, right? That's exactly what should be expected. Gangplank kills. Gangplank scales. Yorick now also out of mana. Jinx and the Blitzcrank are moving. Is her ult up again? It is, but she doesn't want to use it this time. Probably could have used it a little sooner, but yeah, not enough, so maybe we'll hold. Pushing this now. Cassidon's going to go in here. The damage is starting to come through. The Jarvan has respawned, so the Jinx has to be careful. With the Tom Kench, Yone is splitting on the bottom side, taking this one. There we go. Wait to scale. Cassidon does the job. Chills, ults the ult, Mega Gaming. Next dragon up, that's the one we want. So now we have Black Cleaver, Gore Drinker, and Hex Drinker, which I think is fine. Not really. The Hex Drinker confuses me slightly. Don't think we really needed that. If you want pure survivability, people sleep on it, but I do kind of like that Sterix gauge again for these scenarios where you're going to go all in, mixed damage and some burst damage, you're worried about it, just absorb it with the Giga Shield. Now, Yone is overcommitting, so as always in gold, if someone's overcommitting like this, collapse and kill and shove. The Jinx is back in base. The Diana's pushing this one out. They're not grouping up properly. There's no objective on the map other than the Baron, but the blue team could go for this. Like, if Diana and Jinx and Blitzcrank and with Yorick, they could be doing this right now. The Yorick could have pulled back from Vision Line to do this with the Diana going straight forward. You could do this. On the main channel video I just released, yeah? Exactly what we talk about. Exactly what we talk about, because everyone's like, yo, 2 people bottom lane, let's go. Straight to the Baron, 21 minutes, we could snack it easily. Gotta know your champion's output because it's so free. And if you can do that in gold, imagine. Imagine the macro pressure you could possibly have. It'd be pretty good, I think. So we catch this wave here. The Tahm Kench is out of position. The Kassadin TP's in. The Yone is still dead for 14 seconds, so we know we have numbers pull. Affiliates is on the bottom side. The TP is being committed by the Gangplank there in the middle of the river. We are now moving away from our GP's TP. That almost came out a little bit wrong. And we're being chain killed, so yeah. ADC bot lane. TP from Gangplank, cool. But the Gangplank TP's here because we didn't place a wall close by. So I like the idea of, hey, let's use that advantage of a 5v4, but if your ADC is not interested in it at all, should we be going for it? I like the idea of, look, I can just steamroll these fights. My whole ethos is have a strong early game so that when this moment occurs, you can just wipe the floor with everybody. Like, you don't care. Doesn't matter. You can win the fight here. That should be the ultimate goal, right? To be as fed as possible such that you can do those things. However, as you see, the Gangplank TP's here. Yeah, maybe he could have TP'd there, probably should have. But with no Philios, it makes the engage a little bit more precarious. But we are able to kill the Diana, and the Kassadin is starting to become. Because the blue team overstayed, they had the inhibitor now. Yeah, they killed the Tahm Kench, but they're going to have to give up this dragon. If you stay, you're losing not only the dragon, but you're probably losing the Baron in the game, guys. I think it's best if you just give it up. I don't know why they're overcommitting for this dragon here. There's no smite. It's a Kassadin. Gangplank's on the top lane. Flash into the wall of the Yorick. You know, can we kill the Kassadino here? Ooh. Yeah, we can. You know, no. Yeah. I don't know results based with like, oh look, we got kills. I just would have given it up and made sure I could rinse the whole entire map, shove the waves up because you got this inhib down. So there's no real reason to force such a commit where your bottom lane will have to reset it now anyway. So you get the kills, you don't get the dragon. Now what? Because your ADC has to go back to base. You're not exactly using the dead time appropriately. Like Kassadin's dead. What are we doing while Kassadin is dead? Oh, going back to base. Okay. Whereas if we played it a little differently, maybe the next time we kill Kassadin, we get a Baron, right? Which is exactly what you want with this inhib being down. Diana shoves up the mid lane here. Jarvan will hold. Aphelios, do you want to exist or not, my friend? Because it doesn't look like you do. The Jarvan EQs misses, uses his shield for nothing. The Tahm Kench is going to Abyssal Voyage into the backline. The Maiden Man traps him within the Crown of Doom. The Yone is now splitting onto the bottom side. Jinx is not joining this team. That hook does miss. The Tahm Kench is taking everything. The Aphelios is up, overcommitting by himself, obviously. I mean, that's what people do. Now it's a 4v4 because the Yone is in the bottom lane. That is a nice double EQ stonk onto the Jinx there. We're going to get that Gore Drinker healed, and then we reposition by flashing out. Obviously, the Kassadin dies. The GP is doing work in the backline here. The Aphelios is doing work in the backline here. The Yone is not involved at all. And from a Jarvan perspective, he did his job. EQ to disrupt, get damage off. Dunk the ADC to ensure that she is basically not in the fight whatsoever and that she can die. Let your backline of Aphelios and GP do their stuff, which of course he did. Little EQ knockup under the turret, we'll take that as well, that's fine. Huge, absolutely huge shutdown on hold. And the Jarvan did his job. They scaled. Now, what happens next? Everybody's gonna respawn, I assume. Actually, nothing happens, I can see this on the timeline, nothing happens. They all respawn and group up together. Jarvan now has the War Hammer plus Chain Vest. So you could have just gotten Just Dance in the first place. The flash hook onto the Gangplank was massive by the Blitzcrank. They're absolutely massive. Red team now basically saying, uh-oh, because this guy's looking for level 16. How close is he actually? Not that close. We're getting slowed there. We have to be cautious here. Don't go in. Don't go in. Wait for the wave. Don't go in. Just wave clear as much as you can. Kassadin's going to show up. They're like, well, I don't think we can end before the Gangplank's up. Let's go ahead and do the Baron, which is something they should be able to snack freely and easily. Jarvan is chasing. If you're the Jarvan, do you coin flip steal this? What do you think? What do you think? Because I think I could just try and kill the Yone with my team. Yeah, they're gonna get the Baron, but I can most likely use his death timer to do something else on the map. That being said, the game, we scale pretty well, you know, so they're not gonna come back to the mid lane. They're probably gonna push another lane. That's 2 super waves. Can we hold it with our wave clear? I feel like we can do a pretty good job. Let's just get fed. If I go in for the steal and die, what are the ramifications? Will my team follow and also die, and then do we lose? Tough. I'm honestly going to say this is a bit of a 50-50. Depends on your ethos. He does go in. He does try to get the steal. He dunks to get out, which is huge. Can we now turn and use a numbers advantage to get follow-up kills? The fact of the matter is we should be able to. The Yone does die. Diana's way too deep. The Jinx is trying to queue over the wall there, getting nothing going whatsoever. Queue over the wall. AoE rocket over the wall. Extended range, obviously, as well. Yorick TP's back in. Blitzcrank misses that hook. Yeah, see, it works out nicely. We don't get the steal, but we're able to effectively do what we wanted to do in the first place, which is kill one person, force them to maybe continue to fight us. Pick. They get Baron, but most of them lose it. That's the idea there. As long as you know when you go in, can I get out? It's okay. But again, 50-50. There is a lot of logic that says just give up that Baron, take everything on the map. While they're doing it, shove everything as hard as you can. Take some of their camps as well. Really force that Baron to be a huge invest of time for them. And you can wave clear and hold, you know? So there's definitely ways to say, look, just don't do it, because if you die, you can't keep going. Now, obviously, we have a 2v2 in the mid lane here. The Gangplank is going to go into the Prowler's Claw Navuris. He is now scaling as well. The Jarvan's back in base. This guy's over here. Will he die for this? The hook does miss. Diana has used her Rocket Bolt already. Place another watermelon, chuck it, explode it. We're showing up here, Dragon on the map, Yorick topside. So it looks like the blue team, as much as the red team, you know, as much as the red team are trying their best to make the right plays here, the blue team are also completely doing the dumbs. Why would you face check into the river with darkness at this particular stage of the game when you know you have a dead bot lane? Like, you have to, as the blue team, give up this dragon. There's nothing you can do here. All you can do is control your camps and just push out the waves a little bit. Maybe do something here or do something here. Not even, because it's pushed up so much. The Jinx and the Blitzcrank dying cost them greatly, so why go die also? It's just the classic case of, look, we don't have numbers, let's just not die. Because if we're not dead in this particular phase of the game, we can keep getting stronger. Jarvan excluded from this because if he could steal the Baron, huge, right? So, pros and cons to every decision. Sometimes it's a lot more obvious. Like, if I steal this Baron, can we hold? Yes. If I don't steal this Baron, do we lose? Yes. Like, if they get it, and I don't steal it, do we lose? Yeah. Okay, well then I might as well just go for the steal, right? That's a no-brainer. If you're gonna lose anyway, you might as well try and steal it, because if you do it, hey, maybe you can hold. In this case, when it's a fine balance and you're scaling quite well anyway, it's a little less obvious. But he knew how to get out, and he played it well, so we'll give him credit there. Okay. We are shaping up for one last mega team fight. Yorick is now splitting in the bot lane. Kassadin's level 16. We have TPs for the Yorick available, but not for the Kassadin, which makes this play inherently dangerous. Because he's got 23 seconds on the TP. So you should be pinging this and realize, okay, we gotta wait for that TP. Because if Yorick has his, and everyone else is around us, this is not so good, you see, because this guy can TP over. So let's see what happens. We have the 4v4. Can we make the trigger pull before Yorick's able to do anything? That's the question here. Now, the Diana has stepped up. The Jinx has stepped up greatly. This is the problem. And the Blitzcrank is looking for a flanking hook. So positioning-wise, you're looking at it, you're like, well, basically, we've got a 4v3. Cut out the Blitzcrank. We've got a 4v3 here. Maybe we can do something with that. So we go for the EQ onto the Diana. We go straight into the dunk for the Jinx. She has no sums, obviously, because she just died. The Blitzcrank goes into the crater to try and help. Tom Kent uses Abyssal Void to separate, and that's beautifully done. The Yorick doesn't even notice, as most Yoricks don't. Their split pushing Tifa's absolutely god-awful anyway. And that's it. The Jarvan just recognizes 4v4, but Blitzcrank detached, so it's a 4v3. Let me just EQ to CC and knock up the Diana. While she's being poinged in the air, let me go and dunk on the Jinx who has no sums. 3-kill follow-up, Abyssal Voyage from Tom Kench to basically push out everyone else. And the Yorick is like, well, I better split push myself. The Kassadin is like, but I am Kassadin, I will do this. The Jarvan's like, I am not risking it at all. I'm gonna go back to base, and then he cancels his base. Well done, so he cancels his base. Push, 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 push. 3 dead. 3 dead. Kassadin can hold this. Keep going. You can tank the turrets. Kill the Blitzcrank. Good. Keep going. There you go. Well done. Very nice. Very nice. Hit the Nexus. Nice engaged team fight. Nice recognition. Obviously a little bit more risky with the Yorick and the Kassadin. That might not play out that way in other elos, but I like the idea that we saw the Blitzcrank separate down and he immediately recognized that, went in EQR. He was doing that very well all games, so not perfect. Definitely a lot of things to improve upon, but as you can see, the games are won with mental fortitude. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the courses, and see you all in the next tutorial.